We feel broken, splintered. There is something wrong. There is a problem. One of the core problems of our culture is fragmentation, a loss of coherence, values, social norms, families, and perhaps, most importantly, our attention. Our broken attention is arguably the worst problem of all, because if we cannot attend to our lives, we can experience nothing to the fullest. We can learn nothing well. We have inconsistent shared meaning, goals, and loves. To be the Renaissance man is a rebellion against this fragmentation. This might seem odd to say, and you might ask me what I mean by the term Renaissance. Well, I mean it in two senses. One, I mean it in a sense of rebirth. We are in desperate need of it. We are lost in any sense of direction or humanity. So I mean it in that sense, in the sense of rebirth, the man of rebirth. And then a second sense is the positives of the historical Renaissance. That time where innovation, integration, intelligence, and imagination were at a peak. But we should avoid falling into the hubris of the modernism whose seeds were planted in the original Renaissance. Renaissance integration of ourselves and of the culture, is the key to solving this cultural cancer we are in. This time of confused distraction, which is breaking life at the seams. We, the second Renaissance men, are the microcosm of an emergent civilization. If we change ourselves and rally together toward an end, with clear values, aims, and strong attention, we have a battalion of men to fix the culture. Many creators explain how to be the Renaissance man. It's all over YouTube, all over Instagram, TikTok, etc. But few explore the crucial question: why? Hence, my task is to give you an operating philosophy. With the North Star of history, I will tell you how, and then I will tell you why. Why you should use it to mend the personal and cultural fragmentation. The concept I'm trying to convey here is a similar concept to that famous scene in the Dead Poets Society, when Robin Williams' character, the teacher John Keating, was saying that law, business, medicine, engineering are noble pursuits and are necessary to sustain life, but love, beauty, and romance, these are the things that we stay alive for. We need to know why we're doing something. If we don't know the why, the how doesn't matter. In our society, where we believe reductionism to be the greatest virtue, we have become obsessed with hows, material provable metrics. We adhere to the mindset in the real world, at work, or school, often unwillingly, at least subconsciously. Yet, in the parts of our life that we care about and connect to, we are obsessed about what makes our hearts soar. We play World of Warcraft until 2 a.m. We obsess over TV shows like Suits and The Office. Stakes, valor, humor, meaning, story. This is a major key to the human spirit, a key we've trivialized. We see this from Gilgamesh to Shakespeare. We may not all be literature nuts, gamers, or movie nerds, but we all care greatly about story. We always have. We care about what happens in our life, and we try our best to make it have meaning when life lets us. The problem is, life keeps stealing time from us. It takes and it takes and it takes, and we let it. We are so bent on existing, we've forgotten how to live. And the economics don't make it any better. Everywhere you go, there's another bill, there's another need, there's another problem. And I understand. It feels like we're falling apart. But we have to take control, however we can. We have to regain story, because story is what we are. Story is humanity. the conception, the tripartite soul. This conception asserts that our soul has three parts: the appetitive, the rational, and the contemplative. The appetitive refers to our physical urges, the need to eat, have sex, etc. The rational refers to the processes of analysis, what modern man would call the brain, and what I would call the mind. Finally, the contemplative grounds the other two. It's the existential spiritual part of the soul, the part which is oriented to beauty and transcendence, what we live for, what we fight for, what we die for. Whether you believe in this conception of the soul or not, or in the soul at all, I trust that you've experienced feelings that align with this concept. We have these urges, these layers of our humanity. They are always there, always coexisting, but we treat them as if they are circling around like a revolving door, none of them getting adequate or consistent care. An integrated man addresses each piece of his person. And here, this is what we are trying to aid you in doing. We are trying to appeal to the fullness of your soul. Thus, an integrated life will allow you to be the man who has the autonomy over his own soul, his entire being. This reaps both transcendent and practical fruits. You live meaning based on proper and full utilization of your aptitudes. You live it without permission from employer or culture. You live rooted in truth and goodness, regardless of who acknowledges it. You're laid off working in business? Well, you can use your newfound persuasive knowledge to get into sales. Did AI replace your job? Well, you can work for yourself or pivot to a new industry, because you know how to learn. Why we be the Renaissance man is so we have the knowledge to know good. And then we have the knowledge to adapt and do the best thing possible in the best situation. To always choose the good over the evil, and to prevail over it, and to have excellence for its own sake. All aimed at these goals. We are going to teach you how to learn in order to do all of this. Your meta skills will allow any skills. Specialists will not scare you because you connect their siloed knowledge and you know their implications. Multifaceted nature is actually the opposite of elitist, because like the Kipling poem says, you can walk with kings and not lose the common touch. You have the ability to know truth and goodness because you have the tools to truly know. You can forge your own story. You can be the true hero. The Renaissance man is the freest man on earth. A man no one can control because ideas, adaptability, and cleverness cannot be taken away. So we should become the Renaissance man. For the story, for the good, for the true, and for freedom. This in mind, life must lose its clinical visage. Physical training is not just burning calories, it's forging the hoplite or the Minuteman, the molding of the citizen soldier, the man who can defend the innocent or his country. Learning is not just to pass a class or get a job, it's to understand life, truth, and to build an empire. Finally, the appreciation of beauty and goodness isn't just a nice feeling, it's an existential requirement. Yeah, I know, I hear it now. Toxic, cringe, performative male. We've heard it all before. Maybe it's a little bit of LARP, but I want to avoid that by actually doing it. Ask yourself, what am I good at? How can I be useful? What adventure can I have that I've been avoiding? Then go do those things. Perhaps there is a bit of LARP. Perhaps there is a bit of wishful thinking. But there's something to be said for wishing while doing what needs to be done. Isn't there? Make your wishes a reality. Have real output. Create. Create art. Philosophize. Innovate. Also, consider the concept LARP. Some of the greatest men in history were LARPers, at least at the beginning. Caesar LARPed as Alexander the Great, and that drove him to become the conqueror who built the foundations of Rome. Dante LARPed as Virgil, and he became the best European poet in the Middle Ages. The questions of Socrates spurred the LARPing of Plato, which gave birth to the Western philosophical tradition. So maybe LARP has more power than we think. So trust the LARP. but use it. Use it as a springboard to become the man you have to be. Then go out and do it. Actually go out there and do it. Don't just talk about it. Don't just think about it. As tempting and as amazing as that feels, just do the hard things. Myth is great and rewarding, but it doesn't mean it's easy. In fact, it means it's not. Now, I know many of you might either be worried that it's impossible to be a polymath these days, or some of you might even be staring at me behind the screen. That's a fair worry. Disciplines are so deep. Every field is highly competitive. Many of the historical Renaissance men were independently wealthy. It is difficult, but not impossible. There are several barriers, but they are more fixable than we assume. Firstly, the idea of an education that appealed to one's entire being is not new. Not even by Renaissance standards. It goes back to the Middle Ages. Really, it goes back to the ancient period. The medievals weren't stupid, despite what our high school teachers want you to believe. The idea of mind, body, and spirit is not new. Since ancient times, there was the idea of the liberal arts. The term liberal meant free, and the term arts refers to any skill rather than just fine arts like painting. There were skills that made you free men. Not just physically free, intellectually free. These arts were designed to create polymaths, not necessarily to the same degree as an Isaac Newton, but multi-competent teachers, clergy, warriors, and much else. The educated class was expected to be thinkers, creators, and innovators, a far cry from the caricature of the feudal cavemen we are shown. The original liberal arts consisted of the trivium, grammar, logic, and rhetoric, and the quadrivium, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. What do you notice here? Multifaceted competence. Grammar, logic, and rhetoric gives them understanding and use of language, and the quartet of the quadrivium gives them the power of math and the sciences. From the ancient period to the 1800s, this framework stayed, while disciplines grew within it. Then, around the age of industrialism, we thought we knew better. While disciplines have been highly siloed from each other, everything is conceptually connected in one way or another. We have to clarify the modern misconception of a polymath. Starting simple, let's get nerdy and look to the dictionary. The dictionary defines a polymath as a person of wide-ranging knowledge or learning. This does not entail someone who is an expert in everything. It never did outside of pop culture. Let's look at an example. Arguably the most famous Renaissance man is Leonardo da Vinci. On the one hand, we might get caught up in the excitement with the laundry list of disciplines he commanded. Art, philosophy, anatomy, and engineering. But we remember him most for his work in art and anatomy, particularly that famous painting of the Mona Lisa. Someone might argue that he left a lot of his work unfinished, and that he wasted his time on the disciplines that weren't art. One could say that, but his work in anatomy and engineering gave others a strong start in that field. His blueprints for flying machines influenced the lineage that aided the Wright brothers in their quest for flight, and his anatomical work influenced modern surgery. And this is his unfinished work. Plus, by his own admission, his education wasn't the best. He didn't even have a liberal arts education. Imagine what he could do if he had a full education. Imagine what any motivated man could do with an education like that. Then we can look to another polymath, 127 years later, Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz. He was considered the last universal genius due to his command of the human disciplines. Despite his wide-ranging knowledge, he was best known for his contributions to philosophy, logic, and mathematics, having invented calculus independently of Isaac Newton, and also laying the groundwork for the logic that became the foundation of computer science. We see a theme. I will end with a quote from a great role model of mine, the modern Renaissance man and President Theodore Roosevelt. Do what you can with what you have where you are. If Teddy could write books in a leaky cabin in the Badlands, we can forge ourselves in our centrally heated homes in the 21st century. Of course, this is a working theory. Now I will be tweaking and improvising as I go. I hope we can iterate together. Let us continue our Renaissance journey. Thank you.